Imagine being able to wake up in the morning when you want to, not because the alarm clock is ringing or because you have to go to work to earn that money that the entire world so desperately chases. Imagine being able to go to the beach. Imagine going on a hike. Imagine just doing anything that you want, but with a caveat. You don't have the money to do whatever you want, and so you have to do whatever you can without money. Maybe this is a foolish dream, maybe it's not really possible in today's society, but maybe it is. And maybe that's what homeless people have discovered. That if you just lower your living standard, you can actually be the free person you always wanted to be. So, did you know that according to one survey, 64% of all homeless people said they were happy? And in a recent poll, where the general people in the United States were asked that same question, only 33% said that they were happy. So this got me thinking. Ever since basically the pandemic, I've been more and more skeptical about, the narrative that we're being told. And so I'm inviting you to a thought concept that I recently had. It's basically, what if the homeless narrative is actually false? What if the idea that you and I have about homeless people is just flat out wrong? What if most homeless people are actually happy? Now, I know how this sounds, and I can just imagine the comments. You heartless piece of shit. People are starving on the streets. They're cold. Society has abandoned them. They have nothing to live for except drugs and alcohol. Stop spreading lies, you doo-doo head. Okay, first, get off your high horse. It doesn't matter for the homeless people what we think and say, because the truth is that most of us, we don't really care for the homeless enough to do anything about it. And second, let me just say that I'm not an authority on homeless people, and I actually found it very difficult to find good statistics on this. But I did check, and I found a lot of interesting information. Furthermore, let me just be absolutely clear about this. If there are any homeless people out there who are forced into being homeless, then obviously I'm saying I hope that their situation changes, okay? But I'm just considering the thought, and this is all it is. This is a thought experiment. So let me take you back, historically speaking. A long time ago, there was this Greek philosopher called Diogenes. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but let's go with Diogenes. And one day, he decided to become the ultimate minimalist. He let go of all of his earthly possessions and decided to live naked in a barrel. And he had one spoon because he thought that's all he really needs. Until he saw some kids making, like bowls with their hands, and then he got rid of the spoon as well. Now, Diogenes had this idea that you don't need material possessions to be happy or to survive. He meant that focusing on personal virtue is the path of a happy life. Now, with this story in mind, consider that homeless people are simply people who figured out society and just simply decided one day to quit the idea of material possessions. Now, media has a way to dramatize everything. They want to show you the worst of the worst. And when you see it so many times, you actually believe that this is the only type of homeless people that exists. Now, society doesn't want homelessness to spread because it would just disrupt the order. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are people on the streets that suffer from, mental health issues. But how deep is that percentage? Well, I dug deep into this topic, and here's what I discovered. First of all, there are several reasons for becoming homeless, but the main reason is that they actually get evicted, which happens when you don't pay the bills. Now, we assume it's because they lost their jobs, or they had mental problems, or they spent that money for alcohol or drugs. But what if they just simply chose to not pay their bills? Now, I've also checked on some health organizations referring to the homeless want to be free myth. It's false, according to them. Now, their argument is, what sane person chooses to be homeless? And this is where I felt that this research was getting really interesting. Because you see, there's something strange about the word sanity, okay? Like, sane people don't think that they're wasting their life on work, you know? Sane people accept the reality where they spend more time at work than with loved ones. And only 33% of sane people are happy. Now, there are studies that show that homeless people's life expectancy is lower than working people. But is that a good metric for a good life? Like, if you think about it, would you rather live a happy life for 20 years, or would you rather live 50 years unhappy in a wage slave prison? And apparently, most people choose to suffer. And this applies to me as well. I don't want to live on the street. But I'm just sort of wondering how much of all of this is just wage slave programming. Now, let's talk about the word sanity. What exactly is sane? If you look at the word historically speaking, it actually varies from generation to generation. A few generations ago, women were diagnosed with hysteria if they were experiencing certain symptoms, where today it's just simple female sexuality. Other examples are homosexuality, lobotomies, and witch hunts. And there's several examples of this. My point is that society always thinks that it's right. And currently, society thinks that there must be something wrong with homeless people. It's impossible to imagine that homeless people are just people who choose to live out in the freedom. And the first time I actually started to think about this was when I was waiting for my train to go to work, and I saw this homeless person on the train station, and he was sleeping. And I was dead tired, and I had to get to work. And I started to think like, oh my God, this guy gets to sleep in, and I have to yawn and go to work where I don't want to be, you know? Now, the bottom line here is not that we should all be living on the streets, but maybe, just maybe, Diogenes and all the homeless people figured out something that most wage slaves are unable to understand. Thank you for listening. Oh, you're still here. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the behind the scenes vlog. And as you can see behind me, I'm editing the video that you just saw. And I don't know, at the end of the video, I just thought it would be fun to sort of share some thoughts, some personal stuff. Nothing on my part. My life is pretty boring. We recently got a dog. He's growing. Things are going great. He's biting us a lot less. I have a lot less marks on my arms and stuff like that. So that's a big plus. This video was a bit different, I know. I touch on a very sensitive topic that some people, well, it might rub them the wrong way, and I fully understand it. But just so you understand, I'm not belittling people who are homeless, saying that, you know, they chose their lifestyle. I'm sure that for some of them, that is not the case. And as I said in the video, if that is the case, then I obviously hope that things turn around for them. Now, on a personal note, this is something I've actually been thinking a lot about recently, like, what is freedom to me, and what would I do to obtain freedom? And more importantly than that is, what would I do when I achieve freedom? You know, let's say some kind of financial success, be it through YouTube or crypto or whatever. What would I do with my life? Or another important question here would be, why not just start doing whatever it is you plan to do in the future when you're financially independent? As I've been thinking a lot about this, because truth is, I'm in my 40s, you know, I'm not going to become a basketball player. I'm not going to become a famous musician. I mean, it's too late for me to start a career on a new path. Like, I've sort of reached this part of my life that I would like to sort of call Act 3. You know, the first act is when you go to school and you learn a lot of stuff, mostly about how to be a productive member in wage slave society. And then Act 2 is when you actually start living that life, when you get married, when you get a house, when you get comfortable in your life, so to speak. And I've done that for the past 10 to 15 years or so. And the thing that's always been holding me back from achieving like true happiness in life is I've always been thinking about, how to become more successful, be it through YouTube or whatnot, starting my own business. But I've sort of reached this point in my life where I'm done. Or, I just sort of feel done chasing that dream. I feel like if I don't start living my life now, then I probably never do so. And so I decided to change the format of this channel a little bit, at least starting from next year, where I really want to focus more on topics that interest me, make it more personal, and also, the tricky part about being a YouTuber is that you sometimes feel the pressure to create clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, create videos about trending topics, and you're not really doing the type of content that you want to do. I want to be of service to people. I want to make content that people find enjoyable or useful in some way, but I sort of feel like if I suddenly decide to turn this channel into a cooking show, then that's what I want to do, I don't want to feel that pressure. Like, this is my only life, this is my only chance at life, and I need to focus on what makes me happy. As corny as it sounds, I know. I don't want to use clickbait titles, and I want to make videos about topics that interest me. And I want to make YouTube videos when I want to make YouTube videos, not to just, gratify some YouTube algorithm. So I'm going to make videos when I want to. So basically, I suppose what I'm trying to say is that if I have something interesting to say, if there is a topic that I'm interested in talking about, then I'll do that. And if I don't, I'm just not going to make a video. I'll wait a week, a month, maybe longer. Doesn't matter how long. Because I've just realized that if I'm not doing this YouTube thing for myself, then what's the point? Now is the time to live my life. And so that's sort of the path that I'm going to start to go towards. And I know it might sound like I've given up, but the truth is, at a certain age, you sort of have to start thinking, are you living to enjoy life, or are you living life to prove some kind of a point? And I'm just tired of trying to convince the world that I'm a winner of some kind. It's time for me to enjoy my life. And so that's what I'm going to try to strive more for. Might sound corny, I know, but that's the way I feel about it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.